Numbers chapters 25, 26, and 27 was our reading today. And there was kind of some sad realities that we read here, but there's also something that I think is very encouraging. And I'm going to share those with you briefly. First, there's this section. So if you read in the beginning of the book of Numbers, when the people of Israel were at Mount Sinai, they were counted, and it counted the entire, all the tribes. And for all of the tribes, except for the tribe of Levi, they counted the men who were 20 years old and older. And the total number counted at Sinai was 603,550. And then after 40 years, the number that was counted near the Jordan River across from Jericho was 601,730. So that means over a 40-year period, there was a population decline in the way they counted of 1,820. And you think about that's fairly sad. And as we've read through the stories and numbers here of the people, they've made some choices that have cost them, that have cost lives. And that's a sad thing. And the tribes are all numbered. And just to give you a picture, about half of the tribes increased in population, about half of the tribes decreased in population. The biggest decrease was the tribe of Simeon, who there was 37,100 less members of that tribe at the Jordan River than there were at Sinai. And the biggest increase was the tribe of Manasseh, which gained 20,500 people. And so if we look at this, it's kind of sad, and we see the stuff that's talked about and the choices that cost lives. And so we see this, and then we also see Moses kind of passing the mantle, because Moses has made a choice as well. That means he's not going to cross into the promised land. And so we see these sad realities, but then we see something that is may not seem outstanding to us, but in the time was outstanding. And it represents, I think, the character of God that we see here as he's explaining to his people about how they should live and how they should be different than the nations around them in how they treat each other and how they treat people. And there's this guy named Zelophehad who died, and he had no male descendants. And in the time, if you were female, you could not own property. It just didn't happen. That was the way it was back then. And his 4 daughters come and say, hey, this isn't right. And God does something that is incredibly powerful. And he says, that's right. The inheritance that's coming, I'm giving inheritance to all my people. And that women can inherit property. And a whole statute is set out here, which would have been completely countercultural and just crazy. Nobody would even thought about it. But God steps in and says, no, I created humanity, right? And we see this beautiful picture of God and these ladies inheriting property, being given the promised property that God promised all the way back to Abraham, being given a part of the land, and how all the land was meant to be kept within the family. It's just a powerful thing. And in spite of some sadness that we see here, both in the Numbers and in Moses, getting ready to pass on the leadership because he's not going to cross into the promised land. We see this beautiful picture of God treating people the same regardless of their standing and having the same attitude towards them. Hope you're enjoying. Continue reading. Have a wonderful day.